and I sense here, particularly between Steve and Ron, that this is weird.
There are some things we don't agree on.
Well, there are some good thinking.
Yeah, and I do have some responses.
Well, okay, all right.
That's fair. In terms
Really want to get some good reading done.
But critics are still not convinced these programs will work. They argue that in the past, bilingual education discouraged Hispanic students from learning English. Casey McAlpin is director of the advocacy group Pro-English.
The experience of history has made us a bit skeptical, okay? Because it's another thing that sounds like on the surface is a great idea.
I've been always very skeptical of bilingual education. My mother was born in Los Angeles but didn't grow up speaking any English. And since she learned English Yiddish, she spoke Yiddish. And so at a young age she learned English very easily. I never thought it made any sense not to teach children English when they went to school. But then in 1996 I read a series of articles in the LA Times about a group of immigrant Latino parents in downtown Los Angeles who got so angry that the schools were refusing to teach their children English that they started a public boycott of their local elementary school. And it seemed to me when a program has reached the point where parents have to carry picket signs because a school refuses to teach their children English, something has to be done about it. The reality here, again, there's a ton of research on both sides. All the pro-bilingual academics have done a lot of research, but let's look at the facts. In California, children enter the public schools speaking 140 different languages. The only group of children that had a significant amount of bilingual education, or did until Prop 227, were Spanish-speaking children. Of all the immigrant groups, the Spanish-speaking children did the worst in school with the highest dropout rates and the lowest test scores and the lowest rate of college admission. If bilingual education benefits you, why is it that all the groups that get no bilingual education in California do so much better? Which is complete nonsense. The problem is that they were put in these programs, and even though in theory they were being taught English, most of these programs apparently, at least the Spanish language ones, involved as little as 30 minutes a day of English. And if a child comes from a language family where they're mostly talking Spanish at home, and they go to school, and they get 5 hours and 30 minutes a day of Spanish and only 30 minutes a day of English, you can see why it takes them 7 years to learn English.
We don't need to have little children learning every subject in Spanish, and when they graduate, what do? They don't know English, and they're living here.
See, again, what we see supporting bilingual education is a mixture of the bilingual education industry, all the bilingual teachers and bilingual academics and bilingual administrators, a few ethnic activists who are very loud and frighten the politicians from doing anything about it, and a certain number of what I would call harebrained academics that come up with all these bizarre research studies claiming that the best way to learn English is not to be taught English in school and to be in a program which, according to official bilingual theory, takes 5 to 7 years to teach a child English, which is just nonsense. So a combination of those three groups kept the program in place even though it didn't work. On the other hand, during the 227 campaign, there was one Latino parent who said he very much supported by getting rid of bilingual education because his two daughters who'd been born in the United States, by the time they were 10 and 11, they knew less English, since they had been taught no English in school, than children who had just come from Mexico, because the Mexican schools taught English and the California schools didn't.
So they don't know English. And it's because some people make fun of me.
These two fourth graders have something in common. Both started school 2 years ago when neither of them could speak English.
Very nice.
But their journeys to the fourth grade were very different.
In the
first year, I put my children here like that. They improved, but fast.
And it threw water so hard.
Chris's mother chose a Phoenix charter school with an English immersion program for her daughter. It's the type of English-only program Proposition 203 aims to adopt.
Sound of the wind.
Candy Carrillo claims she tried bilingual education programs, but they didn't work.
I took them out of that school so they could learn in English. It was all in Spanish. Where does that leave us?
Steve Farkas, one of the authors of the study, says immigrant parents are no longer looking to bilingual education as a way to preserve their family's native culture.
For immigrant parents, there was a sense, and Hispanic parents, there was a sense that we can take care of that at home. That keeping close to our culture, our native culture, holding on to our original language is something we can do at home, that parents are responsible for. But the public schools are responsible for teaching English so that our kids can thrive in the society and they're not held back.
But now,
High school principal Lincoln Tamayo, who chairs the state education department's bilingual advisory board. The Cuban native says he's decided to lead UNZ's Massachusetts campaign based on his own experience when he started kindergarten in the United States, not knowing a word of English.
By October of my kindergarten year, I spoke English perfectly, and by the end of that year, I can read quite well.